We're going to start by creating a new document. So after you've opened Illustrator, go to Create New. We'll just start with like a regular letter size piece of paper. So if you go to Print, Letter, and then we're going to do this the horizontal format. So click here on Orientation. Then click Create. As you're working, you want to be aware of what you can see through your window. So as I change tools and I need different settings, I'm going to go to Window and look for different tools and palettes. Alright, to start we're just going to cover the back of our paper with a solid color, and to do that you need to create a rectangle over the background. So I'm going to go to the rectangle tool, click and drag from my upper left hand corner to the bottom right corner. Right now the color you can see here is white and the line or stroke is black. To change that we can do it in multiple different ways. I can either click here to change the color, so double click. If I want to change the line color, I'm going to click on the line to bring it to the front, and for now I'm just going to turn it off or click on none. You can also keep your color palette open and you can change color through there. I'm going to create a gradient fill for this, so go to the gradient tool. It looks like this. It goes from black to white, and then you can choose the color of your gradient by going to Window, Gradient. If you click here, you can either, I'm changing the stroke color, so I'm going to flip these, or turn this off again, bring the fill color to the front, and then click on the gradient. If you want to change the colors of the gradient or the orientation, you can click on the colors here. So it starts with white. I could double click this, click on my color palettes or my swatches, change the color. I'm going to go to the black side, double click it, change this to another color, and I want to create like a sunset. I could do that by either putting on a radial gradient, and I can adjust the width of that, or I'm going to try the freeform gradient. Okay, and then this is going to, hold on, I don't like that. I don't know what it's doing. I think I could play around with the color, but I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to go Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z to go backwards. We'll stick with this. Alright, now I want to create a ground. So we'll do this, like, this will be sort of a practice scene. So I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool. I'm going to click and drag. I'm going to choose a color from my ground. My color is open here. I could either pick a color here. I could go to the color guide. I could also open up swatches. I'm going to do kind of a dark green. Alright, now when I'm creating things, I like to use the pasteboard over here on the side. That way you're not accidentally clicking and changing things in your picture that you don't want to. So let's create like a kind of basic skyscraper as like a test. Try some different tools. So I'm going to create a rectangle over here for my skyscraper. I'm going to fill it in black for now. And then I want to show you how to use the Align tools so you can easily copy and paste and create multiples that are lined up perfectly. So I'm going to create a series of windows. I'm going to click and drag to create a window. I'll fill it in, let's just do white for now. If I wanted to, I could put like a outline on it. But what I want to show you is if we copy and paste this, and you can do the key commands, which are Command C to copy, Command V to paste. So I'm going to copy, paste. I'm going to start using the key commands, so Command C, Command V. I want to create a perfect row of these windows for my skyscraper. These are a little big, but I'll stick with it. Then I want to make sure they are perfectly aligned. So Illustrator does a good job of clicking to guides and kind of lining things on its own, but I'm going to go through. I clicked on all 4 boxes, and I'm going to open up the palette that says Align. So Window, Align. This will give me all these options. I can align the objects along the top, the middle, the bottom. Let's just start. I'm going to line them along the top. You also have distribute options. So if I want to make sure they're perfectly spaced, I'm going to distribute them from the center. You can see they adjusted just a tiny bit. They were pretty close. Now I could copy and paste this whole row. All 4 are selected, so I'm going to go to Command C, Command V to copy the whole row. And if I really want to make it easy, I can also group them into one object. So I'm going to go to Object Group. Now if I click on one, it automatically selects all of them, and I can move them all really easily individually. I'm going to go back and also group this row. So I'm selecting all 4. I'm going to go to Object Group, or you can do Command G. Copy and paste this row. So this starts to work really well if you're doing like a whole bunch of something or creating patterns. And once I have enough rows in here, I can align all of these and distribute all of these as well. Do one more. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to hold down Shift to select more than one. I'm going to select all of these rows. And you can see the little blue dot shows up in the middle to know that I have them all selected. Then I'm going to align them. Let's align them in the left side. Distribute them. Make sure they're all evenly distributed. And now they're perfect. Okay, so I've got this skyscraper. It's a little boring. Let's add something interesting on the top. So I think I'll just do like some sort of shape using the pen tool. So a little pen practice. I can click right on the corner of this. You can see you get like this will like kind of click to angles and keep you vertical. If you hold Shift, it'll be exactly vertical. Let's just do like a triangle top. And then if I go back to the original anchor point, oh, it should close off my shape. I don't know what happened here. I'm just going to click on this selection tool to get out of the pen tool. And then I can change that to a different color. Go over to the colors. Make sure the fill color is on top instead of the stroke. Click black. Alright, so I've got my skyscraper shape. I could also click and drag to select the whole thing and copy and paste it to create another. I want my ground to not be quite even, so I'm going to go to the either paintbrush tool or pencil tool, and I'm going to use this to freehand draw along the top so it's not quite straight. So I'm going to freehand draw, and then you've got to go around an object to fill it in. So I'm going to go back to where I started. If I want to select this exact same color green, I could use the eyedropper tool to select it. And then I'm going to move my, click and drag across my skyscraper, move it over here. I want this on top, so I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. And then I want this one to be slightly smaller, so I'm going to drag this over. And I'm going to drag on the corner, maybe make it look like it's off in the distance. Okay, some other tools that might be helpful for you are using the Pathfinder or Shape Builder tools. A common thing that I find I need in Illustrator, I'll go over the pasteboard, is editing shapes. So like I can easily create a circle. It's a little more difficult to create like a semicircle. So if I create a circle and I open up under Window the Pathfinder window. So Window Pathfinder. Pathfinder looks like this. I'm going to right here, and there's different shape modes, so you can combine shapes or unite them, minus, front, intersect, exclude. If I wanted to create like a perfect semicircle, I can create a circle. I can use those guides to the center and then I'm going to put make this a different color so you can see, a rectangle over that, and then I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to exclude, minus, front. And sometimes I forget what these are, so if I just try it and it doesn't work, I can always do Command Z and step backwards, but that worked. So that's like one way to get that kind of shape. You can try these and see what they do. There's also options like if I select these two, I could unite them if I wanted to build like a cloud shape or something. I want it all together. So Pathfinder is also valuable along with Align. Oh, if you need to change the order of things, I don't remember if I mentioned this yet. Like if I wanted to make sure this went behind a shape, make this a little lighter so that maybe this will be my sun. I can change the arrangement. You can do that by either control clicking and going to arrange, and you've got lots of different options here, but arrange, I want to send this to the back, but now that went all the way behind my background. So I'm going to click on my background layer. You can also go up to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So there's always lots of different ways to do the same thing. Just going to change this color. Okay, whatever. Another useful tool is the rotate copy button. So if I wanted to create something that was had like a perfect rotation, I'm just going to make a line here to start, show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to change the color, and then another thing that's come up quite a bit is changing the stroke size. So if I go to window, I don't see stroke open, but I can go to window, stroke. Stroke is the width of the line. Make this a little thicker. I'm going to do a copy paste and make another one of these. I'm going to line these up, and the purple line kind of shows up when they're right above each other, but I can also select them both, go to Align, and align them at the top. Now there's a cool trick. If you go to Object, Transform, and you can do this with multiple different things, moving things, rotating things, whatever. I'm going to do rotate, and I'm going to do an angle of 30 degrees. But then instead of clicking OK, which would just rotate it, I'm going to do Object, Transform, Rotate, and create a copy. What? Object, Transform, Rotate. Oh, it defaulted to 0. Let's try this again. 30, copy. If I kept doing this, Object, Transform, and you can just do Transform again or Command D if you want to keep doing the same thing. I could easily create like some perfectly measured out concentric shapes. Okay, oops. Click and drag to select all these. I could go to Command G to group it if I was making like fireworks or something. I could Command C, Command V, copy paste it. I could change the color. I could change the stroke size, make it thinner. So there's a lot of different options. You can also use like transparencies. So if I go to the pencil tool and I wanted to make like a, okay, I don't like that line. I'm going to use the paintbrush tool because it smooths it a little bit more. It's really hard to draw with the trackpad, very difficult. But you can also use transparency. So if I go up to Object or Window, Transparency, so kind of explore these menus and see what they do. I can make this transparent, so especially under Window, you can find a lot of options. Let's see. Oh, if you are creating a map, you're going to need to know a couple of other things. One helpful menu is symbols. If you go to symbol libraries, so Window symbol libraries, you can open up like all of these different kinds of icons. I went to maps to start. Maybe I want to put a little map symbol in there. I can change the scale. And if you go to edit symbol, okay, you can do some things with editing the color. This is all updated since the version that I have, so I would have to like play around with this and explore how to do that. But it is an option. So symbol libraries, and another helpful tool is under Window. I like to use different patterns sometimes. So that would be under swatch libraries or pattern options, I think. No, ignore that. Window, swatch libraries, patterns. You can try some different patterns. I'm going to try for nature foliage and see if I can find some sort of like grass pattern for my ground. These are very small. You can usually change the symbol size, but I don't know where that is right now either. You can go to the little library button on the bottom and you can choose like different kinds of color palettes or patterns here as well. I'm just going to do some basic dots, and then maybe I'll try going to recolor and changing the color of it. Didn't work. I don't know. Okay, let me try something else. I'm going to go to transparency and make it transparent. So a window, transparency, should be open. I don't see it. Here it is. I'll just make it a little transparent. And then I'm going to copy and paste another layer and fill it in with the same green color. So I'm going to use the eyedropper tool. Go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. And then send the background to the back. So Object, Arrange, Send to Back. So just a little bit of an effect. Okay, that's all I'm going to show you for now. You can play around with all of the different other window options and see what you can come up with, but at least it gives you some places to start. Last tool I want to make sure that I cover is the Type tool. If you're going to be labeling things like you're creating a map, you're going to need to know how to use the Type tool. So the Type tool is T. The T tool. I'm going to go over to my pasteboard to use this first. So if you just click and it's gonna start you off with some dummy text. It's already highlighted, so I don't need to go back and highlight it to delete it. I can just hit delete, or I can just start typing. I'm just going to put my name in here and label it down on the bottom. So just put in something as a label for now, for a test. If I highlight this and I open up character, so right now I can see my character window is already open, but if you don't see it, you can go to Window, Type, Character. This you can control the character styles or the paragraph styles or whatever else. This will allow you to change the fonts and change the sizes. So try this, change your font, change the color. Right now it's set to black. I can put this whatever I want. I can change the size. Please, if you're typing in things in your map, don't leave it as the default Myriad Pro font. Change it to something. You can also write using the paintbrush. So if I wanted to sign my name instead, I could do that. I'm going to do a graffiti style. So I'm going to make the stroke a little bigger. I'm going to copy and paste this, make it a different color. Oops, I changed the fill, not the stroke. I'm going to turn the fill off and make the stroke smaller. And I'm going to select these two. This is when it gets tricky. That's why I like to draw on the pasteboard so they don't end up together. Okay, so different options for doing type. Alright, so do this, hand it in as a JPEG to Seesaw, please. To do that, you're going to go to File, Save As, name it your last name, Tools, Practice. The format has to be, oops, I did this wrong. We have to go to File, Export. So we're going to export it as a JPEG. So I'll change the format to JPEG. Name it your last name, tools, practice, or something. Change the where to desktop and export. Your quality can be set to whatever. I'm going to leave it at medium for this. Click OK. Alright, then you'll go to Seesaw, add your JPEG as a file.